and I'll go on record to say this, a lot of people don't even know this, and it's crazy you asked me this. I had suicidal thoughts at one point, bro, where I didn't want to be here. I didn't.
Hi, guy. Here again. Chop it up with me. First off, I'm comfortable.
We at
I'm
home.
just letting you know. I'm at home.
We at home today.
I'm at home. How you doing?
Doing really good.
Yeah?
Really good.
I feel good. I feel real good. Hey, election just wrapped up. 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Donnie.
Nickname basis. What's your thoughts?
Found the way to pull it off, huh?
He did.
You know what surprised me, though?
He did.
It wasn't even close, bro. It wasn't close. Donnie pulled this off by a long shot.
What you think the difference was?
It just seemed like the energy was completely different. I really thought it was going to be closer,
right?
Than this. I didn't think he was going to blow it out the waters like this, but we're here now.
I have an epiphany.
Talk to me.
I have an epiphany. And first off, here at Keep It a Buck, we just don't, we voted, right?
Of course.
But we don't pick a side to the point where it's like, making anybody uncomfortable. But I have an epiphany. And I just think that, these candidates tailor who they going after social media wise, influencer wise, and they try to get the most out of it. And I think, he has a lot of money in his camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of billionaire friends in his camp. But I think they went after the smaller demographic. I think they went after the smaller demographic and knew that you just left an election where you lost the popular vote and you still won because of the Electoral College. The election before that was, pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so this one is like, okay, well, we don't need to switch 10 million views. 10 million views. See, I'm thinking about views, right? We don't need to switch 10 million views. I said it again. I'm really thinking about views. We don't need to switch 10 million votes. We don't need to switch 15 million votes.
Right.
We need to switch 2.5 million votes here or there to give us a shot. And it's a little bit here and there. Like a lot of times you hear, okay, 80% of X demographic voted for him, right? And if he just takes from every demographic of people, whether it's black women, black men, white women, white men, and you just take 1% of those folks and you flip them over with a little bit of work or a little bit of, influence, that's enough to get the job done. And I think that's what he did. And I think that's what he did. I think it was won when they saw, let me say it like this, I think people voted with their wallets.
Can you explain what you mean by people voting with their wallets?
Hands on, we saw stimulus checks come out before. There's a whole thing where he didn't give the stimulus checks or whatever it is. The majority of the voters don't know that. They know when country was, is red, stimulus checks came out.
Right.
When country was blue, inflation happened. You know what I'm saying? I want money. I want red to help out with blue. I'm voting with my wallet. That's just my epiphany. And again, I'm speaking like I'm not a politician because I'm not.
Right.
But I just think that there's a direct correlation with the whole what have you really done for me?
Right.
And seemingly that's what he's done for people. So they want that again.
So you feel like people got high expectations when it come to money? Or what 100%. Can possibly come out of this?
Yes. Yes. And he runs, the country like a business, like all of his, methodologies, all of his thoughts, all of his, his mentality is business minded. He shakes things up. When a business is not, performing well,
right.
In a certain or specific industry, what do? You shake things up. You hire somebody, you fire somebody, you get a little political, you get a little wild, and that is exactly what he's doing to America. He's getting wild. It's inappropriate. The wildness. I'm just being honest. Some of the wildness that has happened, it's inappropriate. But again, from what we see, he won fair and square, and, shout out to having a Black woman, run for president, in the first place and be influential in her own right, for sure. It speaks volumes there too. So,
I'm interested to know what's Kamala life transition after this.
That's the part.
Are you going to try to run again? Is it like, I shut it down, this is too much? And once again, this was not a close election.
Right.
This went a lot different than a lot of people expected.
Yeah.
Even with our female voters, right? Trump had a lot of women vote for him as well.
Yeah, a lot of the white women.
Yeah.
A lot of white women were the difference maker. Like, I was told that recently, and then I went and looked it up, and I'm like, oh, like, more than I even thought.
Let me ask you this. Do you think America fear women leading us?
Yeah.
So you think there's a little bit of sexism there?
You Black and you're a woman, bro? Come on, you're a double minority, bro. It's like, it's not as complex as people. A lot of times in politics, people try to get extremely complex with the methodology and the thought processes, right? And it's not that complex. To be the leader of the free world and be a Black woman for the majority of, this country, they're nervous about that, scared about that. You know what's about to happen. We about to run that. When I say we, I'm talking about Black folks, but those women they were going to run that, And here's the thing: every politician, every candidate ever says one thing, and then they try their hardest to do the best they can, I feel, And no one's going to say that he's not going to have successes in some parts or whatnot, but my personal belief is, somebody, if his skin color was different, if his gender was different, he wouldn't even be close on anybody's ballot. He wouldn't even be able to fill out a ballot. If he did, think about it. If he did what he did and he was anybody else, he wouldn't be able to fill a ballot out, But again, I personally, being now, a businessman over and knowing, what goes into work, you know what I mean? Kind of behind the scenes and corporate recruiting, I just don't feel, I don't feel any ways I'm ready to, move on, you know what I mean?
Right.
Move past it, but I don't know, man. It's just it's weird. It's weird. Politics is weird for me in general. So please don't get like upset like about anything I'm saying. Politics is just an awkward talk for me.
Right. Speaking of moving on, I think people have to accept that America has voted. Right? They made their choice.
Right.
And Donnie is our president. Right?
Donnie, y'all on first name basis.
I'm calling him Donnie. Donnie, there's no coming back from that. For the next 4 years, Donnie is going to run a show.
Yeah.
Take your feelings out of it. This is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it come down to, people didn't vote. No, people voted.
People voted.
They got out.
People voted.
Early vote, put it in. And we have to respect the fact that he's going to be the next president of America.
That's true. You know what? It's never about what happens to you. It's all about how you respond to it. Everything in life, right? It's some hurt people in the country. It's some happy people in the country. It's some really happy people. They have to respond now, okay, he's your president, he's our president. Let's see what he does and let's see how we go out and live our lives. To the ones that are not happy and that are down and that, are hurting right now, and it's people hurting. I have a friend right now who is a lesbian woman and she's married, and she is afraid that Donald Trump is going to, take away same-sex marriage and nullify same-sex marriage. It would be a process, but if it's somebody that's radical enough to go into that jurisdiction, it is Donald Trump. If it's somebody that's radical enough, I don't think it's going to happen, but if it's somebody radical enough, it's him. And it's scary how he has people in a frenzy just thinking about what he could do. It's wild.
So I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
Keep it a buck.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. Can you really feel bad for people who might fear that but still voted for that? right? Like in terms of what can possibly change the outcome. Also, you gotta look, a lot of people probably about to get deported. You see what I'm saying? A
True,
lot of
true, true,
changes are
true.
about to
Sure.
be made here
Yeah.
for what people might, feel like for the greater good, of the country,
Yeah.
with our new president. But there's definitely going to be a lot of change for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it
A lot of
is.
change
And
for
it's
sure.
it's unfortunate for those folks who it's unfortunate for, and to those who voted and they got exactly what they wanted. That's, I can't help but feel good for that part of you. You know what I'm saying? If you're a good person and you voted based on your beliefs, kudos. You know what I mean? Kudos. And mind you, if no matter who would have won, I'm the same way. So again, I just want to reiterate, it is not a thing that Jarvis is sad. No,
Right.
not even close. Like, I'm good. These cameras gonna keep rolling. We're gonna keep coming out with content. So okay, who president?
What's a little wild to me
What's
from it
that?
all is that I really do feel like women should have the choice
Yeah.
in regards to abortion. I think that's nasty work. You see what I'm
It
saying?
is
To not be in
that's now
control of that.
that part of me
It's a
is
little
wild.
wild to me.
I am pro-choice. Now that I'll
I'm
say.
extremely pro-choice.
You know what I'm saying? It's your
It's
body,
your body.
bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's my
Right.
body, bro.
Take away everything else
Like,
going on.
replace body with anything else, bro. Like,
This is a
if
little
it's
wild.
yours,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, if you can't have your body, what can you have? Why am I
That's a little
talking like
wild.
this? But yeah,
No, it
for
is.
real, it's making it's wild. If
it's a little
if
wild.
you can't have your body,
Right.
what can you have?
Mm.
That part is wild to me. That part is wild to me. But he's made people fall in love. He's made people fall in love with him and the notion of what's going to happen. And we just hope and pray that everything is still good from this. Speaking of love.
Mm. Where we going with this one?
Speaking of love. I thought about it and I saw people, again, cry, be down, be hurt about what happened in the election.
Right.
To the point where I felt like they almost had like an intimate connection with the candidate. I personally did not and do not.
Mm.
Not an intimate relation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Can you explain that? Like, what's your thoughts on people feeling, I mean, that your choice is intimate to you, right? But I felt like, and like I could be wrong, but it feels like they had intimate feeling with the candidate almost.
Right.
What you think about that?
You know what? To be honest, I feel like a lot of people had their mind made up well before this election on where they was going with this.
Right.
Right. There's no secret that I believe when I looked up the amount of billionaires who supported Trump, I think I counted about 25, allegedly, somewhere around that. I think Kamala had about 5 or 6 billionaires. It was one donor that donated, I think, 125 million or something like that. And that was just one.
125 million?
125. Right, one of his biggest donors.
We about
right?
to run for president.
So you talk about the amount of money he had behind his campaign wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Right, it was enough to go on and go on. So those ties, right, behind that election goes a mile.
Yeah.
It goes a long way with that, and also, like I said, people were still upset that Donnie ain't win the last one. You see what I'm saying? There was some
True.
feelings behind that where they
True.
like, oh, we're gonna make sure. But I feel like race played a role. I feel like gender played a role. And my question is, do you feel like this set women back on running and actually have a chance to win?
Back, no. I mean, it could. My personal opinion, back, no.
Yeah.
I don't think it set women back. I think now it's motivating, right?
Mm.
It's motivating. It's now time, okay, Kamala, I don't think she didn't get it done. I think she was dealt a hand that, she couldn't win, if that makes sense. And when I say couldn't win, I mean this. She had 107 days to run for president. I don't think people understand that. 107 days to run for president. I personally feel like our current president of the United States should have given her more time to run a full campaign. My man Trump campaigning last year. Like, we campaigning last year. We don't know if Joe. Think about it.
Yeah.
Over the summer, we didn't know if Joe was going to run again.
Right.
We don't know if Kamala got about to run. We don't know. Finally, 107 days ago, now 108, 99 days ago or whatever, it's okay. I'm not running no more. It's like, man, you okay? She's already going against a former president.
Yeah, for sure.
She's already
this was
going
tough.
against
This was a tough battle.
Donnie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she's a double minority.
Yeah.
Like, how many disadvantages can you have? And she lost, but it's commendable her, and I'm saying all that to say,
Oh yeah,
her work is commendable enough
Sure.
to where if you just fix a couple of those things, we're talking about something different, possibly. So I think it's motivating for people to step in and go, I think Kamala run in 4 years. What you mean? She's coming back. She's coming back.
Jarvis, I'm going to shift gears here.
Talk
Since
to
we're
me.
talking about love, right? People loving their candidates and who they vote for.
That's wild.
Right?
That's, yeah.
I want you to keep it a buck with us.
What's up?
2 kids, right? 2 sons.
Okay.
2 handsome sons. Once was married, 2 years, right? We're going to jump into it. Now I'm being divorced.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your marriage was a failure?
Y'all remember the episode where I drank my Kratom?
Take a sip
and Company, huh?
And think about that one. And be real with us. We're gonna jump right into this one. Do you feel like being married for 2 years? And I'm sure you had big goals of what you thought marriage would have been.
Right.
And now being divorced.
Nah, we're gonna turn up a little bit. Listen, my marriage was ultimately a failure. I do not feel like a failure, right? I don't think the people involved were failures. I think we just failed. I think it's no different than Lamar Jackson playing an AFC Championship game and losing. He's not a failure. But
it's a good example.
That year, they failed, right? They did not get to the big game. And I just didn't get to whatever the big game would be, like the longevity piece or whatever. But I just didn't get to the end, And it's little things that happen along the game that take away from you hoisting a trophy at the very end.
Right.
And it could be things so small, 15-yard penalty, offsides, or, you take a wrong step, you run a route the wrong way, little things along the way. And I think that's what happened with my marriage. It's just little things along the way that were just different,
right.
And ultimately you find out that we couldn't put a full game together. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't put a game plan for a full game together. And respect. First off, we're friends, right? Like that's my dog.
That's dope.
Like,
that's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's my dog. Like for real. She might not call me her dog, but that's my dog because she the mother of my kids, man. Yeah. So, for my sons to love them, I tell them every day, like call your mother. Talk to your mother when you're with me, and then vice versa, call me or whatever. And she does the same thing. But as far as us, I just think that we just could not put a full game plan together to be a successfully married couple. And I think she saw it first. For those that got divorced before, she was the petitioner. I was the respondent. And ultimately, you never make anybody. I don't make not a soul on this earth like me or love me. You know what I mean? So wasn't love. I'm still in love with her as their mother. No longer as, the wife.
That's a little funky right there now.
Oh, no, it's clean. Ain't no funk. I'm telling you.
So it's clear. It's clear where you stand
like,
on that.
No, that's my dog. That's clear, but like, that's
all right now.
Our relationship, I'm telling you, our relationship is about the boys, and I am in love with the fact that she is my boy's mother. I wouldn't have it any other way. And we've moved on.
So let me ask you this.
Sure. Shout out to her, man.
Hannah G.
Shout out to my
we
dog.
See you.
Like, for real.
Do you feel like you matched her expectations of what it was to be a husband?
Nah. To be a husband, I'm going to keep it all the way funky. I think I match anybody's expectations when it comes to being a husband. I was almost born to be a husband. I'm not a cat that's, that's meant to be outside without family, like the family environment. You know what I'm saying? With the helm being, husband, wife, trickling down the kids, the friends, the community.
Right.
Like that's me.
Right.
It's easy for me to gather folks up and to to rally the troops and to do things and have fun. And that's my repertoire. That's what I do. It's just that, to answer your question, like, did I meet her expectations? Clearly, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not perfect, so things happen. You know what I'm saying? You know, yelling happened, screaming happened. You know what I'm saying? I did some cartwheels. You know what I mean?
Right.
Did a backflip, and I didn't mean to. You know, it is what it is. You know, but
Right.
as far as what she expected, I don't know what she expected, but whatever it was, you know, I didn't meet it. And again, man, if anybody hears me in anything, do not force a woman to love you. Do not get upset if a woman does not love you or does not like you. Like, you know, they say it's easy to move on. It's not, but it's easy to part ways and move on when that person doesn't feel
Right.
a way about you. You know what I mean? Especially when, you know, I'm not a cheater. I don't go out. I don't step out. I don't do all of that, you know, and that's just not my thing. But at the same time, you know, just because you're not, that don't mean you're a great partner either. You know, there's some cats out there that did they deed, but they better partners than I have been. Just being honest with you, you know, it's a sector of life that you have to meet in the middle with. And if you can't meet in the middle, you know, don't meet.
I like that answer.
So, so yeah, man. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I'm proud of the relationship my kid's mother and I have. Super proud of it. And it would not have happened without community, and would not have happened without good, you know, morals, with good intention, and ultimately good people that I can refer to, talk to, chop it up with, keep it a buck with. Like, it doesn't happen without those people. So yeah, we good. We good. Now, hold on. I ain't the only one. Now, you know what's crazy is that somebody asked me the other day, somebody asked me about being in love. Like, about how many times I've been in love. I'm like, I've been in love once. Now I'm in heavy light right now. Heavy light, you know? Hey.
Little boo thing.
A little bit, you know? Heavy light.
Yeah.
What is your thought? My little yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they say in New Orleans, my little yeah, you know? What's your situation look like? You know, I'm gonna let you paint the picture. You know, I just put the canvas right here. You paint the picture. What does it look like?
Man,
When it comes to love,
I think love is a choice.
say that.
Okay.
Say
I
that.
think love is a choice because you got to learn how to love the fullness of somebody. Okay. Love can be ugly at times, right? I can hate you at times. I can not like you at times,
But you still in what?
but I love you.
I'm telling you.
Okay. In my situation, right, we've been through our challenges like anybody else, right? You're going to have your ups and downs, right? But to still have that love to fall back on means the world. You know, we share a beautiful daughter, Amore. You know,
Right.
that's both our worlds, and I think
Her name Love.
that's what keep us glued together. You know, and like I said, you know, it's not easy. Relationships can be difficult. Trust me. It can be difficult, but I do believe that love is a choice. I have to choose love. I have to wake up every day and choose love, right? And it becomes complicated because when you're with somebody all the time, you're gonna have days, right? I might have days where I might leave something on the floor. She got OCD. You see what I'm saying? So she like things a certain way,
What
right?
she say to you?
Oh man,
What?
should be on my ass all the time. All the time. But I'm getting a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot better. I think a lot of it come with age, right? A lot of it come with just being more patient and understanding how women process information. Totally different than how I understand it, right? So, you know, we've been in therapy now, which has been great. Great. I highly encourage y'all, man. Please get couples
Please,
therapy.
man. It's
Please,
everything.
please. Because there's a lot, you know, there's a lot that she has to heal from. There's a lot I have to heal from. There's a lot of family trauma, me losing my mom, her losing her dad. So there's a lot of things that go into why we are the way we are, you know, in our relationship. Um, but like I said, I'm a big advocate in couples therapy, and we have a great therapist. Shout out to Alicia. You know,
That's what's up.
she's helped us a lot.
Both y'all going to her together, and then are y'all doing something separately too?
Yes. Yeah, so she actually comes to us. She comes to us,
Right.
and we have our couples therapy, and we also have our one-on-one therapy,
Okay.
right? And I'll be honest, sometimes therapy get heated up a little bit. It ain't
It has
always
to,
what
right?
people, from the outside think is just a great, like, I feel like therapy is where you're supposed to be so open and vulnerable, where if you're not being truly who you are, you're losing,
Big
right?
time.
You're not able to get help when you're getting help on the character you. Okay. And what I mean by character, you, if that's not really who you are to your core, the therapist is not able to help you, right? You're
Yeah.
being fake. So you have to be real, right? I've had my moments in therapy where it get uncomfortable at times, right? But I've learned to embrace it, right? Embrace it, be one with it, learn from it, and get better. I'm so competitive to where I take notes, right? I'm a big note taker, right? She get hot sometimes because I'm quick to pull up my phone now. I got notes from
You
everything.
referencing everything.
Oh, everything is
Oh,
noted.
she can't stand
I like
you
to check
next
my
to her.
boxes off, right? I
That
like
make
to
it
check
that
my boxes off.
that makes them go home and
Oh, 100%.
yeah, I gotta look out for
Because
what I do.
I'm a big structure guy,
Yeah.
right? Being an athlete, I'm so used to schedule. And if you take away that schedule, I have nothing. If I don't have my day to day or itinerary or my plans, I'm all out of whack.
Right.
I'm
Right.
completely out of whack. So it keep me afloat, it keep me going, of course. But it keep me in my own world to make sure that I am getting better. And that's
Yeah.
the goal. I want to get better in life. I want to be a better man. I want to be a better entrepreneur. I want to be a better dad. I want to be better at everything. So when that day come, when I'm not here no more, I check my boxes off, bro.
Come on, man. Say that. That
Come
was
on.
well said, bro. That was well said. Is she happy with you now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Got you. Got you. You said something big, dog. Like, it's not a relationship if you're not going through something.
Oh,
The concept
facts.
of life works as such. You grow up with things that you deal with and you tend to every single day. When you care about it, you get angry with it as well as you get happy with it, right? You argue with your brothers and your sisters. You hate the sport that you're playing sometimes because you're
Right.
not playing,
Right.
or the coach isn't putting you in, or, you didn't score, or whatever it may be. You're angry with grades if you don't get the good test scores. Whatever.
Right.
You have anger and you have happiness for something that you care about.
Right.
Grow up, what does that look like now? I run a business. If I'm running a business, I get angry at the people that are not doing what I want them to do. And then I reflect and then I go, you know what? Let me try to make this work and see what I need to do. And I calm down. But it's a wave of emotion because I care about it. When you care about somebody or something, expect it to be anger and expect there to be happiness. Because guess what? Now, go back to the childhood. When you don't care about something, what do? You just, oh, whatever. I don't
Nonchalant.
care. It is what it is.
You know
You know?
what? Speaking of business too, running a business helped me become a better man. And I'll
In what
explain
way?
why. I'm gonna explain why. I take full accountability and I always say it start with me, right? Far as
Right.
with leadership, right? I can run my fitness company right at a high level,
Right.
right? I'm directing traffic, I'm leading the group, right? Same thing goes for relationship. It
Yeah.
starts with me as the
Yeah.
leader, right?
Yeah.
So if my team, if my family is not doing well, right? That's a reflection of me, right?
Right.
If she's not meeting her goals, if my kid is not meeting her goals, like that's a reflection of me. So as men, we have to take accountability, right? And put order in the home and get this figured out, despite whatever she's doing, right? Despite whatever what's going on, control what you can control. But it start with a male leadership, right? We can't sit here and keep blaming this and blaming that. It start with us, bro. The better leader I am to my family, the better my family is. The better I lead by example, the better everyone is around me.
That's what I was about to say. A lot of these guys and gals, a lot of people in general, but obviously sticking to the subject of men leading, a lot of men lead by what they either think should happen or they lead, they're leading with their heart. Bro, when you get to leading like that and you lead with your feelings, you can't trust your own feelings in a situation called love. Love is a bubble that you rolling down the hill. You just know you're going to get to the bottom of the hill and flatten out. That's the love part. The part that's good about love is I know I'm going to get to the bottom of the hill and I flatten out. However, rolling down this hill is about to hurt. Sometimes it won't hurt as bad, but every bounce is going to either be painful or it's going to be uncomfortable. And a lot of men lead with feelings.
Right.
And then there's a lot of women who won't let men lead. I'm sorry. There's a lot of women that
sticky.
buck kept. It's a lot of women
sticky.
that won't let men lead because
no.
it's an egotistical
Absolutely.
thing. I can't let you don't tell me what to do.
Right.
And that may come from childhood trauma.
Right.
That may come from influence from brothers, sisters, cousins, niece, whatever it is. It also may come from learned behavior from what you've gone through. But there's a saying that I grew up with, and I stick with it now forever, and I'll always stick with it, is that, men lay the foundation.
Absolutely.
You cannot see the foundation. The foundation is not to be seen, it's not to be adored, it's to be respected because the house is not there without it.
Right.
But the women make the house look absolutely gorgeous.
Facts.
If a house stands on a foundation that is shaky, or there's no concrete down there, there's no cement down there, and it's just on quicksand, it can look pretty for about 2 seconds. And that thing gonna start crumbling down or whatnot. However, on the flip side, if you have beautiful foundation, and that you ever pass by a house that's getting built, has a great foundation, you see all the pipes coming up, and you see the cement, and there's no house there.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, we'll pass that. It's a good opportunity. It's a good opportunity to build on there, but it's not a home. I can't live in there.
Right.
So you have to have both. You have to have a foundation, and you have to have the aesthetics, to make everything look better. Women make us look better, but men hold it down to keep us grounded. And that's not everything. You have your roles. Every situation is different. But I just know that I just wish that more men would stop leading with feelings all the time. And then I wish that I wish that there were more women that can admit that, I need help with learning how to let a man lead.
Right.
And letting him do his thing. And sometimes there's some men out there that just can't do it.
No, I agree.
They just can't do it.
And speaking of a foundation, there's a process that comes with that.
Hello.
And I go on record to say, just because you're a man, don't make you fit to be a leader.
Talk that talk.
Just because you're a man, don't expect to feel like, because I'm a man, that I'm automatically a leader. No, leadership is learned.
Hello.
You got to learn how to become a good leader.
I'm telling you, man.
Right? And
also, go through that fire,
before you become a leader, you have to become a follower first. Right?
You didn't say we're going to preach tonight.
All right. Don't get me quoting scriptures now.
No, you didn't say we're preaching tonight. Before you, servant leadership.
You have to. You have to. And Jarvis, if I'm being honest too, and I like to compare it to my world, my reality, right? Because you talked about some women who don't really allow men to lead. Right? They don't know. As a female, if you've never submitted to anything, how do you know how to submit to your man? And ladies, hold on. I want to dive into this. If you've never submitted to anything, how do you truly know how to submit to a man? And I'll correlate this to this, right? The game of football, right? Just a game we love, we played, right? And I'm gonna correlate this so people can kind of understand how we process this, right? I started at 9. What age you started football at?
I started at 13.
At 13, right? So from a kid, we had to submit to a coach. Right? We had to sit down, take a knee, and listen to who the leader was, and we had to follow rules and regulations. Right? Then you get to high school. You had to submit to your high school coach, right? And I'm using submit as in a way to acknowledge.
No, it's exactly what it is.
Acknowledge who the leader is.
Right.
In each level, in each phase, right? You're submitting to somebody who has the answers. You're giving yourself to somebody to learn and watch from, right? And I had to look at myself of, damn, I know what that's like to actually listen to somebody who know more than me, right? To pay attention to somebody who's giving advice, right? And I had to ask that question to women, like, you never played the sport, if you never did this in life, what have you ever really took time out your day to sit down and submit to something? And most of them haven't, right? They haven't. So when a guy is trying to give leadership and females don't know how to process leadership,
don't know what it sounds like.
It becomes combative. Right? It's part of their nature to kind of defend themselves a little bit. And I'm not trying to keep up with women, but I'm just saying, if you don't know what that looks like, there's a natural thing to that, right? And it's not to X those women out. I'm gonna tell you this. It takes an even better leader okay?
To get
To
them
make
on
sure
board.
women who's not able to receive that, right, be more open, right? Because you got to talk to them out of love, right? You got to be patient. There's a lot that come with having them comprehend what that looks like, because we throw the word submissive around a lot, right? I've used that word too, and I think sometimes people got their own perception of what being submissive is, right? This ain't bark like a dog, do as I say, I'm completely in control. No, no,
That's what you got to get to.
you have to. And you got to be clear on
You
what you
got to get the
mean.
clear on that.
You got to get the
Right.
clarity.
Right.
Because once they hear that word, automatically it's
Coming
something
back at
going
you.
off that's saying, oh, you want me to just shut up and listen to you.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
No. I want you to respect my leadership.
Right.
Right. I want you to listen to me when I speak. I want it to be clear, right? That when I'm talking to you and I'm giving advice, that you're able to take that, receive it, and talk to me out of love. Right. But men got to do a better job at also with their leadership explaining what that means so that the woman can understand it.
And be prepared to have all the patience in the world to know that it's not about to be a smooth conversation.
Oh, for sure.
When it comes to feedback. It's not about to be smooth.
Sure.
It's about to be rocky.
For sure.
It's about to get rough. And that's where your character as a man comes into play. Because now it's like after 1, 2, 3 times that you're interrupted,
right?
Because you're going to get interrupted.
Of course.
You're going to get interrupted.
Of course.
And guess what? You're going to go to sleep. You're going to wake up. She's going to know that she interrupted you. And you're going to do it again. And she's going to interrupt you again. She may interrupt you later in the
100%.
conversation, but she's going to interrupt you again. And you have to be better each and every time you go out to explain it, to be able to say, you know what? I'm not going to give up on this process because I know what's going to happen in the end. Love is where you're looking for the result.
100%.
You know it's about to be rough. I'm looking for the result, and I'm going to stick this out. We're going to talk about this. We're going to make this right. You're going to hear me.
Right.
And I'm not forcing you, but I'm telling you out of love. And at some point, I think if you guys are meant to be,
right,
and it's a situation that, has promise, I think something's going to, I think love, trumps a lot of, gosh, why I use the word trump. I think love triumphs in that situation,
right,
and something clicks. Whether it be in the man, whether it be in the woman, something clicks.
Right.
Now that's word though right there.
I mean, and outside of love being a feeling, it go back to what we said earlier. Love is a choice, right?
Big
You got to
time.
choose to love that woman even when she get on your nerves. You
Right.
got to choose to love that woman when she ain't her best self, right? And that comes with leadership and understanding. That also, not to get into the scripture, that as a woman, she's the weaker vessel. The Bible states that. Not I didn't make this up.
You ain't do it?
I didn't make this up, okay?
You didn't say that.
No, I didn't make this up. You have to acknowledge that she's the weaker vessel, right? So with our leadership, we have to get them on page. That's why I say it starts with us.
Yeah.
Fellas, it starts with us.
Yeah.
It does.
I didn't know we was going to have a word like that today. Love is finicky.
Yeah.
Love is finicky.
It's
It actually kind of is nasty work, though.
extremely nasty work.
Love is
No,
nasty work.
It is.
Love is not, I don't think love is for everybody.
go
Love is
ahead.
for everybody. I don't think the general concept of relationship is for everybody.
Right.
At this point.
Right.
From what we grew up with and what we saw to what the world is now, there's so much sample out there of what can be that we want it all quickly.
Right.
And love is the ultimate process.
Well,
It's the ultimate process.
social media has damaged what love looks like because there's a lot of fake love on social media.
They've shown, and there's a lot of real love, but they've shown you the final product.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Now you want the final product as soon as possible. Let's be completely honest.
Right.
We're doing this podcast. I think we're damn good.
Mhm.
We want to get there now.
Correct.
It's
a lot of
we
patience.
want to get there right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there was a point where singers and poets and rappers had to go through a real process and be really good to get their music produced. Now, I can log in right now to Spotify and I can put my music on there right now. Right now.
Yes, sir.
So the process of love has got to be respected. It's got to be respected, and you have to know I'm going to go through it with this person, and we're going to hash this out. And the ones that quit, love is not for quitters, and quitters is not meant to love. To me, this is my opinion. Just my opinion.
You gotta have tough skin. Because
You better have
at
tough
some point, you're going to be challenged in a way that's going to make or break the relationship. You're
Right.
going to go through the ups and downs. You're going to go
Right.
through your harsh reality, in that relationship, and it's up to you on how you bounce back.
You're gonna battle with yourself on thoughts.
For sure.
You're gonna want to do something, say something, call someone. You're gonna want to do a lot of different things, and you have to hone in and say, you know what? This is one of those moments.
Too, Jarvis, the biggest thing too is for men and women, you gotta identify when you're the problem. The issue is when you're in denial about being the problem.
Stop talking, I'm gone.
No, let's talk about it.
Nah,
Keep it a
too
buck.
much bucks, too much bucks, too much bucks.
There's been a few times.
That's crazy.
No, seriously. I'm very logical. There's been a few times where I had to really look at myself and say, I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
It takes a man to do that.
No, I'm the problem here.
It takes a big person.
No, it does.
Pause to do that.
It take a lot, but that's true leadership, right?
Yeah,
you can't identify your strengths and don't identify your weaknesses.
I don't think you get to a place of ultimate mental, emotional, spiritual love until you're able to say to your person and even say to yourself and say to your maker, whatever you believe in, I messed this up, it's on me, and I want to fix it. When you say that to yourself, your person, your maker, and you're able to authentically say, you know what, I'm not good at this.
Right.
I need to. Let's keep it a buck.
Hey.
I had a temperament issue before. A lot of people who have met me, I'd say 2020, post 2020, they probably be like, Charles, you the chillest person ever. And it's because during the divorce, my temperament was so high. I said things and I meant those things and I did not take into account the pause that I needed to take before I said a lot of things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And nothing out of the ordinary. You probably look at it and be like, oh, this ain't that bad. But it doesn't matter. It's your relationship, right? So whatever she perceives you to be bad, that's what you have to respect. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you have to deal with. Whether it's right or wrong, you have to deal with that part. If somebody outside, I say this all the time, there's a couple I saw on social media that was literally slapping themselves, you know what I'm saying? Like to get their rocks off. No. They were slapping themselves, and then they start making out.
Wow.
But any other couple, we're calling the people on you. We calling them people, you're done.
That's nasty work.
But them two, you better not call the people. The other one gonna slap you now because it's like, leave us alone. This is what we do. Like the whole point is there's things that you do as your own entity that work for you, and you have to, as a man, figure it out. And you don't figure it out. You do not figure it out until you say on a number of occasions, I'm wrong about this. I'm wrong about something. And she has to do the same thing.
Speaking of doing the same thing, you have to accept the fact that sometimes you can lead by that. I'll admit, I've gotten a lot better at admitting when I'm wrong.
Oh my gosh. I do it all the time.
Yeah, I can come to you.
I do it all the time.
As a matter of fact, I never really had a huge issue with it. Like I can say I was wrong how I handled that.
Right.
But I'll be honest, it might take a phone call, to probably two of my friends. You see what I'm saying? Or my brother, where I say, hey, how you see this, right? Because I need to get that reality check.
But that's the work.
Yeah, I need that. You got to have a good corner too. You got to have genuine friends who want to tell you about yourself. You can't have a yes friend, right?
That's the work.
To everything.
It takes work to do all of this. Yeah. That's the work.
100%.
The work is, you know what? I'm about to say something. Let me stop.
100%.
Let me call my dog real quick. Bruh, I'm about to say it. Don't say it.
You got to have a good
You sure?
corner.
Don't say it. Why not? Because she didn't blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. I got you. That's work. That's studying. That's anything you put work towards, that's work.
You know how many times I felt right, but was wrong? Right? It came off that I felt right and was dead ass wrong, right? Now, Jarvis, I'll say this. I'll come back to the table and say, hey, it's completely wrong how I handled that. Or how I said this was wrong.
Yeah. She
don't follow that same energy though, right? Women be wrong and don't really, hit you with the same.
That's true, though.
It's like, she's gonna stay in that funk of I'm wrong, but I'm not gonna address me being wrong. I'm gonna let time flow by. That pisses me off.
Somebody's smacking their teeth right now watching this.
If
somebody's smacking their teeth right now,
come to me the same way I come to you and
say,
I messed up. I'm wrong. Or the way I said that to you, babe, like that came off a little funky. I'm sorry. No. Right? So sometimes you can lead in that and it don't come off. I'm keeping it a buck.
No.
It kind of pissed me off. Give me the same energy. If I'm able to come to you after I reset, right? Because I'm a big resetter, right? Let me think about this. Let me process this. I don't know if you watched the interview with Cam Newton and Doc, right? You got
Yeah.
high functioning and low functioning.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yes,
Sometimes
boy.
women can be extremely low functioning with a
Right.
response, right? Where they can't regulate their emotion. Um, but yeah, I would say that's the only thing I would love to see.
It's all about handling truth.
100%.
If you can handle the truth, you'll be fine. If you cannot handle the truth, you better figure out a way. You better figure out a way.
Some people can't.
No, I know they can't.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying, but
tough.
if you want the relationship to work,
Right.
you better figure out a way. Or one of y'all gonna be the respondent, and one of y'all gonna be the petitioner, and somebody gonna have to sign the papers and bring them to the other one's house and make copies, and you're gonna have to reveal it in a financial affidavit exactly how much you make to that person. They have to see everything, all your bills. They're gonna have to see all your yeah. As you see, so we've been through this before, but dog, really quick. I wanna get touch the base on this because I know we kind of run out of time. That's the ultimate transition, love, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ultimate transition. You have been in love before, football, right? You've been in love, right?
You're gonna switch it up like that.
I have to because I thought about the other day. He does not know I'm about to ask him this. The Commanders. No, you were at the Commanders. You had a workout with the Cincinnati Bengals, right? You got hurt. At some point between that time, you played football, you loved it, you gave it your all, and then you stopped. And when you stopped, money stopped. That was your only job, I'm assuming, correct, at the
Mm-hmm.
time? And you got your last paycheck from the NFL. What did that feel like?
It's crazy. I don't know why you asking me that. Got my heart
What did that
racing.
feel like?
Racing. Man, that was a lot. If I'm keeping it a buck with y'all, I felt like a failure.
Mm,
I did. Even though it was out my control, and I told my quad since the age of 9, I've never missed a season.
right.
You get what I'm saying? I've probably missed a game or two, through nicks and knacks, but never had a season-ending injury. And this was the first time I dealt with that, right? Um, Fear of not bouncing back, fear of no one cheering for you no more, fear of going broke. Let's call it what it is, right? That was my last paycheck, right? So there's so many thoughts that's crossing my mind. Who's in my circle? Who's for me? Um, and I'll go on record to say this: a lot of people don't even know this, and it's crazy you asked me this. I had suicidal thoughts at one point, bro, where I didn't want to be here. I didn't. No one was cheering for me. No one was asking, "Are you okay?" And I don't blame them because I was so in denial of playing off how I really felt. People would, talk out, laugh, have conversation, but I was so down and out, so depressed to where I didn't even understand what depression was. It took for somebody to tell me, bro, you sleeping in all day, you eating late. You get what I'm saying? You kind of getting out of whack. You're not caring no more. Letting my facial hair getting out of whack. And it was a really, really dark place for me. And one thing I learned from that was the NFL don't cause you to really lose your mind is the lack of preparation. So you just mentioned something that hurts when you say that was my last paycheck, right? That
Mhm.
sting a little bit. Um, but it's on me, right? I didn't put myself in position to properly exit this game, right? You go from making 40, 50,000, some people making 100, making $1 million a game to nothing. Nothing. So there was a gap where clearly, you know, I'm okay, right? Because I was, played 4 or 5 years. Like I had enough to be stable, but I never had a real job in my life.
Right.
Never had a real job in my life. Never filled out a resume. I was so behind the eight ball. Um, but those thoughts crossed my mind often. And I'll say this, I couldn't even control it. There was days I didn't want to wake up. There was days I felt better off not being here.
Nah, yeah. Did your family have a lot to say? Does your family know this?
No,
Mm,
no, and I never knew how to tell my family how I was feeling. We come from a family that really don't understand what mental health is,
right.
right? And if I'm being honest with you, we come from a strong praying family,
Yeah.
very religious. Mother was in the church, my dad was a pastor,
Right.
and God was the outlet for everything. If you was dealing with something, let's pray about it,
Right.
right? Let's pray about it. And I think we have to understand that you can be a praying family, but don't feel like or neglect what people are really going through. Sometimes I needed my family to be there, right? I needed them to be present with me to pick me up. And I don't blame my family because, like I said, I didn't even know how to express this to them, right? I'm
Right.
sure if I told them I was in that dark space, they probably would have wanted to come, but it was embarrassing.
Why embarrassing?
It was embarrassing because I feel like I didn't want to put my trauma on them. I didn't want them stressed out of what I was dealing with. So the reason why I do, I guess, don't get so upset about it because I was acting. They'd call every now and then, they'd talk, how this going on. And I was just acting like I was well, but I was down and out. I
Right.
was spiraling out. Like there was literally days where I felt like this can be my last day. And they didn't notice at all.
God almighty. I tell you what, I I'm a little thrown back, but I will say this. Being in a situation where something is stripped from you, right? Uh, and something's taken from you that you worked so hard for. I'm country, dog. And all of us work to have a family. We work to have a beautiful wife, and we work to make a community happen. That's like the country dream. It's a country boy dream. Whatever aspect it takes to do that, or outlet it takes to do that, we bust our ass in it, right? And when I got divorced, when I was divorced, I never had any suicidal thoughts. I never had any thoughts that I didn't want to be here. But and some folks who are going through things I guarantee they'll be able to understand this. I can see where it would come from. You know what I mean? I can see where someone would, if I went to this depth of that thought, I can see how day by day you can get here. And then I can almost even see how you get there, right? I can understand it. And it's not even a thing where you're better off because you didn't go there mentally, but to even be able to understand it is, is a situation where I'm super remorseful, right? I feel terrible that you went through that, and I feel even better that you're here. You know what I mean? And a lot of people have a lot of things to say about folks who have mental issues, and I used to be one of them. I used to be somebody that didn't understand it, and I say, "Oh, if you think like that, then you were, something ain't right with your religious life." You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right,
or
right,
you're not a believer like you say you are, and that's farthest from the truth.
right.
Some of this stuff you can't even control. You can't control this, And there were times where I think I did go through minor depression where, I didn't want to leave the house. I wanted the lights off all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I didn't know what it was. I just thought I was tired. I was tired for no reason,
Right.
And I done became so exhausted thinking myself through the situation that I'm just like, okay, I'm here. I'm here. And you have to sometimes mentally fight your way out of that thought process and go, get up. I'm gone. I got to get out of here. Go force yourself to do something.
Right.
And again, I say that to say, I'm glad you found a way to, at some point, because there's a threshold
Right.
where you could have been gone or you're here. And you clearly, at some point, you went over here. So I'm glad you went there. And for anybody else that is dealing with any type of situation that is similar to this, and we did not come on here to even talk about that, it's coming from the heart. Make sure you handle the basics in your life on a normal basis. Because if you would not have been a man of structure, if you would not have been a man in a praying family, if you would not have had family and local support, if you had not had the work ethic you've had, it would have been a lot easier to have gone that way.
Correct.
You know what I mean? A lot easier. You give me a man that's doing amazing in life, I'll show you a man that saw it a little bit differently at one point. So kudos to you and your triumph, dog. That's a triumph. That's a transition like no other.
No, it is.
The only other transition that's like that is going the other way. And there are people that have gone the other way. We have friends. I'm sure you have friends.
Oh, definitely.
I have friends that have gone the other way, and you don't know what they've thought. You don't, right? Even you being here have a glimpse of what they thought.
Oh yeah.
But to actually go from that quick threshold, it's a it's a different ball game. Speaking on that, mental health is real.
I feel like a lot of people would run from that question, right?
Oh yeah,
No one wants to
keep
speak
it a
their
buck.
truth and live in it, right?
Yeah,
Even being here now, there's a little bit of uncomfortability to talk about. I
right,
had days I didn't want to be here, right?
right,
Like, how do you tell somebody the truth about that? And the
right,
thing is, it took for me to go through that to understand what that was. I've never had suicidal thoughts in my life.
right,
You get what I'm saying? Like, I come from a praying family. Like, that never crossed my head. And if I'm being honest with you, the only thing that kind of saved me a little bit coming from a Christian home was the fear of going to hell. Right. I knew if I,
right,
killed myself, like you go to hell. So it's
right.
like that was playing in the back of my mind, like, Josh, that ain't the way out. But if I'm keeping it a buck, those thoughts were stuff I couldn't even control at times. I don't know why that would cross my mind.
You
It
you
was
know what a
random.
lot of people don't understand, and that's why I say stick. And we'll get ready to wrap it up here. I know we're almost out of time, but I say you stick to the basics for one reason only. Is because anytime you're in a jam, when we're in a football situation and you're in a jam, you literally revert to the basics, right? You don't overcomplicate things. You go back to the fundamentals. And when you're going through something like that, fight your way to get to the fundamentals of life, because we all as humans talk a big game when we talk about praying, when we talk about caring, when we talk about loving, when we talk about supporting, when we talk about nurturing. We talk a big game. But when it's no longer, this is a test, when it's no longer a test and it's real life, not many people can apply the fundamentals to the game. Not a lot of people. Everybody wants to join the army and get the benefits and reap the money that's being given and the early retirement and everything. They all want to do that. But they're all doing it hoping that a war ain't coming. Because when a war comes, how you learn how to shoot that gun, how you learn how to jump out that plane, how you learn how to shoot that mortar, you now have to apply that. Or this is no longer a drill. And that's life. Life is, you, as parents, get these kids right with the basics so that when they go, because they're going to go through something. It may not be suicide. It may not be suicidal thoughts, but these kids are going to go through something. Make sure your kids know the basics of life, how to fight their way out of an issue, how to go to somebody if they need help, how to, if that's your belief, how to pray and pray often, how to read and get knowledge and understand past situations from people, and from, friends and family. Once they understand those things, whatever the basics are in your home, they have a better chance of getting out of those situations. Because if you didn't think that you were going to hell
Mm.
and you thought that you were just gonna go quiet and silent,
Mm-mm.
keep it a buck.
But
Hey, you good, bro?
great.
My guy. Unplanned, but a gem. A gem. Um, man, I have nothing to say. I'm speechless right now. I'm speechless
It's a
right
good
now.
one, man. Good
You want to
question,
wrap it up? You
Jarvis.
want to talk to him?
Good. Ah, man, I think the only thing I would say, because that kind of got me going.
Yeah.
Um, Fellas, this is to the men. Don't let your pride and ego get the best of you when it comes to your mental health. Get the help you need and the help you deserve, right? We want to live a long time. Don't ignore the symptoms. If you're having thoughts, if you're feeling unusual, please, man, reach out to somebody and get the help you need.
And I'm gonna wrap up with this. Find your value in life quickly. Whatever you are good at and that you love, find your value very quickly, because not just because it'll make you money or not just because it'll make you feel good, but the quicker you find your value, the quicker you'll find an outlet to run to. And there's going to be times in your life where life is going to be so hard and so difficult that you're going to need to run to something and somebody might not be there. But whatever you're valuable in will be there, you know? And right now, my value is, and my passion is fatherhood. It is being a new entrepreneur. And, if anything ever, you know, starts to tremble, in my life and the ground starts to shake, I know I'm running to. And I'm also passionate about my beliefs, you know. And so find your value quickly, very quickly, if you can. Um, Anything else, bro? You good?
Good.
Hey, today a buck was kept. We out.